The night began with what I thought was an attempt at rekindling something we had lost. I suggested dinner at the same Italian restaurant where I once proposed, hoping nostalgia might remind us of the love that brought us together. The place hadn't changed. Dim golden lights, soft violin in the background, and the familiar smell of freshly baked garlic bread filling the air. Yet from the moment she sat down, I noticed something different about her. Her eyes kept darting toward the table. Her hands fidgeted with a napkin, and her smile looked like it had been carefully rehearsed but failed to reach her eyes. The waiter brought our drinks and we made small talk about nothing important. I tried to ignore the heavy silence lingering between us, but deep down I knew something was coming. And then, as if ripping off a bandage, she leaned forward and spoke the words that froze me in place. "I've been with someone else." The glass in my hand felt like what? My mind raced. My stomach churned. But outwardly I didn't move. Around us, the room buzzed with conversations and laughter. Yet all of it faded into nothingness as her confession echoed in my ears. She didn't stop there. It explained that it hadn't been a one-time mistake. She admitted feelings, real feelings for another man. That was the moment my heart stopped hurting and started hardening. This wasn't an accident. It was a decision she made over and over again. A betrayal built on choices. Every kiss she gave me at home, every casual "I love you" before work had been a lie. I slowly set my fork down, keeping my eyes fixed on hers. "So you think you've fallen for him?" I asked, my voice even almost casual. She nodded, as though confessing had lifted a burden. That's when I leaned closer and said words I knew would cut deeper than any anger. "That's good to know, because I've already fallen out of love with you." Her face went pale instantly, the confidence draining from her like water from a cracked glass. She tried to reach across the table, her fingers trembling, but I pulled my hands back. "You're not even upset," she whispered, her voice breaking, almost desperate. I gave her a faint, almost pitying smile. "No," I said calmly. "I'm relieved. Now I don't have to waste the rest of my life on someone who never valued it." My calmness unnerved her more than yelling ever could. She expected rage, maybe tears, but indifference was the last thing she could handle. I pushed back my chair, placed some bills on the table to cover the meal, and stood up. She called my name, but I didn't look back. I only told her one final thing. "You get to live with your choice, and I get to live free." With that, I walked out of the restaurant, leaving her sitting there in silence, her world collapsing around her. For me, stepping outside into the night air felt like breathing freely for the first time in years. The following days proved how much my calm exit had shaken her. She called nonstop, sent long texts filled with apologies and explanations, and even appeared at my workplace in tears. But I gave her nothing. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I didn't beg for answers. Silence was my response, and it destroyed her far more than anger ever could. She had expected drama, shouting, accusations, maybe even forgiveness. She wanted control over the outcome. Instead, she faced something far worse: indifference. I had already moved on in my heart the moment she confessed. Her betrayal didn't break me. It freed me. And she realized too late that my silence meant the end. Looking back now, I realized that night wasn't about her confession. It was about my decision. I chose to walk away with my dignity intact. No second chances, no false promises, just the quiet strength of knowing I deserved better. She lost me not in a storm of rage, but in a calm exit she never saw coming. And so for her, that dinner became the memory of her own undoing. A night where she thought she'd control the narrative, only to be silenced by a calm response that ended everything.